nature friends. We are out on the trail again today. I'm near town today. I have to pick the kids up and run a few errands before I pick the kids up. So near town, so I can do all that. But this is a ATV trail that I come down not very often. They only just opened it maybe last year. I think it was last year. So we've been coming down a section of this trail for a while, and they just connected it up to this one. And I'm really liking this one. Lots more to look at than there are on those gravel rail trails, rail bed trails that I've been doing recently, which is fun. So I thought we'd do a wander down here. It might be shorter, but we'll see what we can see. I thought I would start here. We were looking at asters the last time we were talking about the different species of asters that come out in the fall, and this was a great spot because there's like 4 species here. 2 of these I don't actually remember the name of. There's this one here. I don't know if you can see how well you can see that, which is tall with these thin leaves. I'll need to look it up. I'll put it on the screen if I figure it out after I get home. And then there's this little wee one down here. Blocking it with my sun. There, which has much shorter, it's got clusters of flowers and much tinier leaves with these big heart-shaped leaves down at the bottom, which may actually make it heart-shaped or heart-leaved aster. Something I'm going to need to look up again when I get home. And then the third one, they're all growing in a clump right here, which is really cool. This third one is New England aster. These are the really common, well, I mean, they're all really common. These are the ones that I really like, though, they're just such a vibrant purple, and they're everywhere, and the bugs are big fans of those as well. Here's some more of the little one. I think this is the panicled aster, is this one here. They're really pretty, just how they're all clusters, bright clusters of purple flowers. And then just down here is this group of flowers, group of asters. And these ones are flat top aster. These are obviously much taller, with white flowers, and they form big clusters at the top there. And actually these ones are not too busy at the moment, but they're often very busy with pollinators. Lots of wasps and bumblebees and stuff visiting them, which is really interesting to see. I think I've have a group of them in one of my other videos with lots of pollinators visiting them. Here's another one. Look how tall this is. Look how pretty. And there's so much of it around. So that's 4 species of aster that we have around here, and they're all just like grouped right there. And I can think of at least one more that we have at our house that I haven't seen represented here on the trail yet. But lots of different species. We've got the goldenrods as well through here, of course. This trail is pretty muddy during the summer season. It seems to have dried out mostly by now. You can see the big ruts though left from the ATVs as they go through, which means all the plants at the sides of the trail are covered in mud, which makes it hard to appreciate them, but still. I can hear some birds up ahead here. Call notes. Chip, stay with me, please. But I cannot see the birds. I did bring my binoculars today, so that's something. I'm going to get better at this. I did not bring a second camera though, as you may have noticed. This sounds like a cardinal. Can you hear the call notes? but I can't actually see it. Maybe a baby cardinal calling to a parent. Oh, there it goes. I can see it now. Yeah, that is indeed what it is. It's a baby cardinal, or not baby, but a juvenile cardinal calling presumably to its parents. It's still got sort of a brownish orange plumage, and its beak, instead of being strongly orange, is very dusky gray. But it's got a very distinctive clear sound to the call note that normally you hear the adults making a single, not paired or just three in a row. Oh my goodness. What were those? Maybe that was a female and these were its youngsters that I just flushed. Oh my goodness, I hope they're all right. Oh, I see it. Who is that? No, it wasn't a youngster. It was a mourning dove, and he's staring at me going, what the heck? I was foraging really peacefully there and he came and disturbed me. That was a bit startling. Normally that happens to me with grouse. Chip, come on. Out, please. Thank you. Oh, this is cool. Oh, will he stop? Please stop. Oh, he didn't stop. Man. This is the trouble with nature walks. I don't do these nature walks in person because I find it difficult to point at things that have already gone past. But at least with videos, I could put something on the screen. And anyway, that was a crane fly. And it's a phantom crane fly that they're black with like white bands on their legs and stuff. I'll put a photo on the screen right here. That I don't see very often, but they're just such this like cool looking crane fly that they make me excited every time I see one. This would be the time of year for them. I thought I just heard somebody rustling the bushes here. I don't see them now. Oh. There goes again. Don't know. Possibly a mouse. I had a cool encounter in our yard yesterday where a little mouse got trapped in my garden, which I have framed off because otherwise the rabbits will come and demolish everything. And this mouse accidentally got in there, I guess. And it was a species I'd never seen before. It was a meadow jumping mouse. I've never seen a jumping mouse in all my years of doing nature stuff. And somehow it would have gotten trapped in my garden. You can find some really cool encounters in your garden or on your property when you're just going about your business, if you're paying attention. Anyway, this is him. Or at least it will be once I've put the editing in. Not a great photo, but it was enough to identify by. And it was a pretty cool encounter. Still. Okay, I like this forested spot. There aren't a lot of mature forest areas, whoops, really close to town because, of course, a lot of this area was farm fields once upon a time or cleared for forestry reasons once upon a time. So a lot of forest is quite young, but this one's getting to be a bit more mature. So you've got like a few larger trees in there, including this sugar maple here. And it's got this beautiful forest floor, all covered in grass, and these undergrowthy plants. These are mostly young saplings. There's some dogbane in there, young basswoods. Quite often there's sarsaparilla in there. Some ferns, not too many. Beech, young beech. Here's a young fern. Bracken. My yard is full of those. Oh. Oh, was that you? I think that was the dog. The dog throwing sand around. I thought it was something interesting like a snake. You fooled me! Yes. Oh. Oh, bugs going by. There's something through here. Oh, here it is. I wanted to show you when I came back. So a lot of my trails are out and back trails. There aren't too many loop trails that are close to where I need to be to pick up the kids and stuff. So I've already been through once and seen a lot of this stuff. Anyway, I'll show you here. These are some cool mushrooms. There's big patches here and over here. And then behind me here, there's some more in the trail right there. And if you look in the forest here, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. In this area here somewhere, and then further out there somewhere, there are a few more of them. And they're kind of like all in a straight line. I can't see any curving around anywhere. But often you have, oh, there's some further up here underneath this. They're right here. So it looks like it's curving this way. Whoops, this way. The mirror effect of the video. It's curving that way, which is often indicative of what are called fairy rings, when you have the mushrooms start. These are the fruiting bodies of mushrooms, which are like the plants that grow up out of the roots. And the plants disappear in the winter or during their off season, but the roots stay underneath, and the roots are the alive part. The plants are just what you see above the surface. And mushrooms are like that as well, where they have the mycelium network, which is their root system, effectively, underground. And it all spreads out, and you often have like rings of mycelium, and the fruiting bodies of some species pop up at the very edge of the root network. So in the middle, you don't have any fruiting bodies, the mushrooms, what we know as mushrooms, but around the outsides, around the edges, is where you get the fruiting bodies. And when they get quite large, it turns into these rings that we know as fairy rings. So this one is quite an old one, judging by the diameter of this ring. And if you can see the whole ring, you can see where the center of the mycelium network is. I can't see enough of the ring to be able to tell for this one, but quite often it's at the base of or quite close to a tree, because many species of mushrooms have an association, a close association with certain tree host species, and they exchange nutrients through their two root systems being commingled, which is kind of a neat symbiotic relationship that many fungi have with the forest. So I'm back a few days later, and I just happened to notice this clump here, and there's a little bit just in behind, and then if I turn around this way, maybe you can see here, there's a little bit more. So this was the other side of that fairy ring that I was talking about. And if I go up this way, we walk up here along the trail. This is pretty amazing to me anyway. All the way up here. We keep going and going and going and going. And here we are at the other side of the ring. That's how big it is. That's a big fairy ring. I can't even imagine. I can't picture where the center of it is, but pretty impressive. Anyway, thought I'd share. So we're just getting back here to the gravel trail where they connect up. a little more open here. It goes through a couple of wetlands. Also, more people travel this one because it goes right into a neighborhood in town. Whoops, you okay there? So I gotta make sure there's no... It's like checking for traffic. No people coming, but we're good. Here's the gravel trail. It's a really pretty trail. I love these birch trees. Oh, my words today. I keep mixing stuff up. No, these aren't. Yeah, some of them are birch, and the rest are trembling poplar. But anyway, it's this little grove of pale trunked trees, and it's really pretty, especially in the winter. Come on! The other problem with this trail is that there are tons of dogs along here. So he's constantly stopping to sniff at the dogs. So here's this big wetland. Look at this beautiful wetland. It's huge, isn't that amazing? Here are the trucks, it's right near the highway, right near town. There's this beautiful wetland. I don't actually see a lot in there though, and I'm not sure if that's from the runoff from the highway, or if I'm just not here at the right times of year. I'm never here in the mornings. Birds are more active in the morning. Might be part of it. I don't know. Lots of cattail though, and meadowsweet. Not very much loosestrife, which is usually a good sign of a healthy wetland, which might disprove the hypothesis about runoff being the problem for wildlife. Loosestrife tends to be indicative of disturbed wetlands. So wetlands, it's not necessarily the health of a wetland, which is what people tend to think, but loosestrife is indicative of, purple loosestrife is indicative of a disturbed wetland, one that has a lot of interference in the natural balance of species, and that can either be like heavy muskrat activity, because muskrats dig up the roots of cattails and eat the roots, the tubers of cattails, and in doing so they create open spaces in the wetland. And purple loosestrife seeds are very opportunistic and grow faster than cattails do, and so they can fill in those gaps that muskrats have created. In a healthy ecosystem, the muskrats are kept in balance by predators, and there aren't too many of them, but if the predators are not present and then the muskrats go to town, then they can clear out enough to let loosestrife take hold. Or it can be an indication of pollution, because loosestrife are again more resistant or more resilient against pollution. Or it can be indicative of human usage, like boats, because the loosestrife can deal with the turbulence caused by boats a little bit better than some of our native plants. I guess there's a fair bit of loosestrife right here. You can see this is all, it's all spent, it's all finished blooming now. But this is all loosestrife in here. And then in the back, up at the top here, this is all cattail. So that area there is still quite healthy, but this area here, which would have more disturbance, I guess, from being right next to the trail, is all loosestrife. There's a whole bunch on the other side here too. But it's still pretty. I actually really like loosestrife. A lot of people will decry it as being not very biologically diverse, but if you actually take a close look, there are a lot of species, insects and otherwise, that will use these stands. Coming? Good boy. There's a lot more, oh, it's a grasshopper. There's a lot more wildflowers along the edges of the trail here where it gets more sun. It's more open from the shade. But they're all dying back for the season. And of course, some of my favorites along this trail are these guys. You can see this one particularly well because it's starting to turn yellow here. This is spreading dogbane. I think it's spreading dogbane. It's a dogbane anyway. And it gets these sweet smelling, teensy tiny little white flowers in the summer that are particularly popular with pollinators, especially hummingbird clearwings that I see there semi-regularly, which are one of my, their type of moth. Not evident from the name, hummingbird clearwing moths. And they're like this big, and they look like little hummingbirds. They just hover at the flowers and zip around, but they're more the size of gigantic bumblebees maybe. They look more like that than hummingbirds, but they're really cool. Another shaded section here. Oh, I think I've shown this in past videos, but we've got our false Solomon seal here. You can see the stuff discarded by people who've come by. False Solomon seal, though, these berries, which are popular with birds and ground mammals, mice and such. Some more over there. I can hear one-said chipmunk right now. Can you hear it? It's got a very distinctive, like, hollow sound to the note when they're calling. Pretty distinctive. Alright, well, we're starting to get back into the community area of the trail, so I should probably put Chip back on the leash before we get too close to any other dogs, potential dogs joining the trail. I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you for joining me again. We didn't look at a whole lot, but I did a lot of rambling, which seems to be how it goes. And hopefully next time we're out, we'll have more time to pause and look at a bit more that I can share with you. But in the meantime, I hope you guys get out and do your own explorations, see what you can find in your own neighborhoods, and we'll see you in not too long with another video. Have fun.